So let's just go ahead and drop this bad boy. Plus, let's go. Okay, let's have the fun. Let's do it. Tiamat comes out to play, this beautiful god, and now we get our choice of 5 dragon creatures. Let's just enjoy it while we got it. Ladies and gentle mages, civilians across the multiverse, welcome back to another episode of the Mana Man, and today we've got a juicer for you. Before we dig into the deck, make sure to leave a like. The button looks just like this, and it helps out the channel tremendously. I'd greatly appreciate it. But let's go ahead and dig in. Let's start off with the Tiamat. It might be a little hard to see behind my head. Let's see if I can kind of like flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, which will matter, well, I'll get to here in a second, search your library for up to 5 dragon cards not named Tiamat, and that each have different names, reveal them into your hand, so you pretty much get to refuel them. It kind of acts as like an Atraxa, but for dragons. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. It is worth noting that you have to cast it, so I do run the World Tree, just so that you can, later in the game, you can snag it, because it is a god card, and we do run a bunch of mana. If you notice the mana sources here, the mana base is just crazy. We got Godless Shrine. I mean, there's just all sorts of, pretty awesome art, if I do say so myself, but that's not the focus of the deck. I never like to choose too much with the mana base here. Let's go for Niv-Mizzet Reborn as well. So we got the 5-color nonsense. This is a 5-color deck with the Tiamat, so Niv-Mizzet Reborn. Whenever this enters the battlefield, this is not a god, it is a dragon avatar though, and it has a really cool animation, but nevertheless, you get for each color pair. So that is exactly why, with all these dragons that I'm running, I am prioritizing cards with exactly 2 colors in them. So that there's a million different dragons that we could take. We could take like the gold span dragon, but I'm going for the adult gold dragon, just because this card is really good in this deck, because obviously it is the Boros color combination, which we got, you know, Rivaz of the Claw, we got some Dimir, we got some this card. Look at this card. This card is absolutely amazing. Orzhov colored. This is the Shadrix Silverquill from Strixhaven, and this is like, I just love this card. Look at the art, absolutely sickening, and this is the kind of deck where you want to run it. We got the Beledros Witherbloom, so more Strixhaven nonsense. Pay 10 life, untap all the lands you control. Just pretty much a bunch of stuff that we're going to be able to grab with either Tiamat or the Niv-Mizzet Reborn. But also why the Goldspan Dragon, the adult gold dragon, is so good is because obviously we do run Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, and there's really no other card that's non-legendary in the entire deck. So being able to copy the adult gold dragon is actually very relevant. And plus, most of the time, this is just a good card in and of itself. It does allow you to fix up your stuff, and I think I am going to kick up the Beanstalk to like 3 or 4. So, I mean, you could probably do something like this even. I just think that a lot of, you know, these type of decks, you need removal pretty early. So, I don't know, you could kind of play around with the ratio here. I think this may be where I settle at, but nevertheless, you do have plenty of sweepers, especially we do run a lot of white early. So having the Doomskar, plus you can also foretell it. You've got the Leyline Bindings, you've got the Farewells, you know what I mean? So it's, it does look like it's a little back heavy on the curve, which it is, but I don't really get blown over by aggro too much. So this is basically the deck. I'm not going to go over every single one, I guess, we already kind of did. So Kyodai, also, little shout out here. For the 5 colors, you get +5/+5 until end of turn. Flash this in for indestructible. I think Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa, this card is absolutely, it's not a color pair, so you can't really grab it with the Niv-Mizzet, but nevertheless, with the 5 colors, I had to throw it in here. Rivaz of the Claw lets us ramp up, and I think I kind of covered everything. Hidetsugu and Kairi, very nice. Just pretty much a plethora of cards. There's a million different dragons that we could have, but again, I wanted to prioritize the color pairings with Niv-Mizzet Reborn and Tiamat. That's enough yapping. Let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. Consider joining the channel that had me as a content creator. I greatly appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. And without further ado, let's get ready to vanquish some enemies. Ilgor Trow, how we doing here? Okay, so don't have any red for the Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, so I think I'm debating on mulliganing this. I think we're gonna have to, so let's go ahead and do that. So we do have the Beledros Witherbloom. Absolutely love that card. Goes really well with both our Tiamat and our Niv-Mizzet, but gonna have to put her back, unfortunately. Big fan of that card, but yeah, I think this is good enough. And I think we're just gonna drop the Triome. We got the Temple of the Dragon Queen. Unfortunately, do not have a dragon for the Temple of the Dragon Queen, but as long as we get the Beanstalk up, I think we'll be fine. So, alright, here we go. So we got the Sunpetal Grove. Again, all of the different color lands and all of the different, like, art styles of all the lands. That's the part I think I enjoy most about this deck. Might seem a little goofy, but I just got Stubborn Denial. Oh my gosh. Okie dokie. Stubborn Denial. What a card. But, okay, not that big of a deal. I think we're just going to drop the Temple of the Dragon Queen. And I already know, since we have the Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, I'm going to go ahead and run it for red, even though it's going to come in tapped. We'll go ahead and put the Doomskar out. They are running Sultai colors, so it could be a creature deck. Alright, Blood Crypt. Not a whole lot to do right now. I think we're just going to drop the Watery Grave and just kind of hold up the Fateful Absence and see what we got. Let's see what we're playing, though. I don't exactly know. I think this... I mean, I have no idea. We just got Stubborn Denial, and I know they have the Gigantha. But Gigantha is, like, in a lot of decks, so there's not really... There's always something you can play with that, so... Goes play down the Godless Shrine, and hopefully we can top deck into either, like, a Niv-Mizzet or something else. So we got Founding of the Third Path. Okay, let's see what they're doing here. Let's get a little bit more information about their deck. So we both are on a very, very slow start. Oh, so the Hooting Mandrill. So this is probably just going to be like, just like Delve, mid-rangey, beat face kind of deck. So there's a Hooting Mandrills. There we go. So a Delve Trample. Not too bad, though. They get as effectively like a 1-drop, 4/4. So I'm just trying to think, do I want a Fateful Absence this? I think I do. They only have one open mana source here, so they can't really investigate effectively. And we can go Stubborn Denial. Okay, so there we go. Now the Stubborn Denial is a lot more than stubborn. It's actually effective, but okay, not a big deal. I think we're just gonna go ahead and do this. Do I want Farewell? I think I kind of do, because here's the thing. With Founding of the Third Path, or do I want a Doomskar instead? I'm not really worried about my life total that much, so we just Doomskar. Did not have to pay the Blood Crypt, so that was a little bit... Maybe should have slowed down a little bit. Not that big of a deal to go for the Third Path. The 2 life that I hit, it could end up mattering, so that is kind of irksome, but it is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. Initially, my monkey brain wanted to go for Farewell, but I was like, maybe I should just Doomskar, because they can't use Founding of the Third Path effectively, so it doesn't really matter that way. And, I mean, dropping the Prismari, there we go, so more Delve stuff. But that, you know, it is what it is. A 3/3 flyer actually isn't that big of a deal. Plus, we got the Galazeth Prismari, and we got the Alternate Art, of course. Get a Treasure Token. Now, unfortunately, again, the downside with all this different colored land is we don't really have, like, creature lands. We don't really have, like, utility lands. We have cycle lands, but that's really it. So, Neoform, here is going to come out the Atraxa. So, I mean, immediately you say, like, well, you could have went for Farewell. I don't really think I want to go for Farewell on just the just like the little baby creatures. I just feel like it's not very effective. Even though they do put out the Atraxa, I don't know if they have like a Neoform, but I am at least a little bit familiar with this deck. I have played it once or twice, so basically just drop these little like Delve creatures for free essentially, and then the Neoform works to get out the Atraxa. So definitely not looking great, but as long as we have Farewell, I mean, it's definitely not beyond the pale. Go for the throw, kills our creature. Things are looking good, especially with another top deck, but I'm not ready to give up. Not yet. I think let's take one more beating from the Atraxa before we start doing stuff. And hopefully, I did show them Doomskar. That does hurt. I did show them Doomskar, so they know that we're running like sweepers. But hopefully they can just maybe go wide as possible. So there's Gigantha. Up the Beanstalk. Okay, so it's actually not that big. I think that's pretty good. If we go for Up the Beanstalk and go for Farewell, so at least get a... we actually draw 2 cards this way, so that's actually pretty awesome. So I think I'm going to go for Farewell, and I'm going to keep the enchantments, obviously. Just exile everything except for enchantments. And yeah, that's fine. Get another card draw off the Beanstalk, so let's go. Okay, so we got the Shadrix Silverquill, and I'm actually going to keep these lands in my hand. Once you get the 7, I'm usually a little hesitant to drop lands because we do have Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So they do hardcast that, and we get a Leyline Binding, and things are actually looking a little bit better here. Leyline Binding, of course, with the Up the Beanstalk lets us draw. And get a Fatal Push. The Fatal Push actually is pretty gross. Not really the best thing here. Let's go for the Shadrix Silverquill. Look at this thing. Get another draw. There's our Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which is why we're not exactly just pounding land drops here. But this is like, I love this card. It honestly is a little bit underwhelming. But if you're gonna run the Silverquill, you might as well run this. So I have to pick each player. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw a card. And I'm going to put the +1/+1 counters on them because obviously they don't have one. But that is kind of what I like about this card. You have the different modes. Is double strike, but like, yeah, +1/+1 counter on each creature, draw a card. Yeah, look at this thing. I mean, this is like the sickest art ever for just like the most mediocre card, which kind of sucks, but this Fatal Push is also not looking very good. Besiege Who Endures. It has a basic land type, so we are going to be able to snag something. It's not a basic land card, basic land type. So we do get a, I guess we'll just go for the Proving Ground. I don't think it particularly matters right now. So they do get their little Hooting Mandrills back here. I do have a Doomskar, and the Neoform is going to hurt, so... Unfortunately, yeah, this Fatal Push is just not doing really anything for us. And another Atraxa comes out to play. You know what? I mean, they can only run 4 Atraxa, though. If they kind of run out of steam, there is a possibility that we can still take this. We still have the Doomskar. Unfortunately, the Silverquill is not looking too good here. I might use the Silverquill just to get like another card draw off, but like I said, the Shadrix Silverquill, I mean, just huge fan of this art, man. Really, really pretty art. It's a shame that the card is not really that great, but again, it fits the theme of our deck very, very nicely. So Thoughtseize, let's see if they get rid of the Doomskar or the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. They do get rid of the Doomskar, which makes sense. That does allow us to draw for Up the Beanstalk. How are we actually sitting here? Like, realistically, go for the throat. So they are tapped out now. They can't go for Stubborn Denial. Ooh, and a Farewell. Okay, so Farewell, definitely a good draw there. Of course, anything that allows us to draw with Up the Beanstalk is always nice. And I think we're going to have to do this. Shut the Mana Confluence so that we can go for Fable of the Mirror Breaker and a Farewell. And of course, we're not going to get rid... And they're tapped out, so they can't go for Stubborn Denial. Let's do the same exact thing we did... Yeah, almost hit enchantments. Don't want to do that. Let's keep our Up the Beanstalk, and we get a Leyline Binding. So we are actually like maintaining our composure pretty well here. I'm gonna go for Fable of the Mirror Breaker because we do have 2 dead cards in our hand: the land and the Fatal Push. Keep the Leyline Binding. There's their own Fatal Push. I'm very, very surprised by it. I mean, because like I said, this deck typically is like a worse Atraxa. The Tiamat and the Niv-Mizzet kind of acts like an Atraxa, but I don't know. I mean, we're hanging in there. This is proving it though. Like well, I got the Triome. I guess the Triome I can use a cycle, so we might as well get rid of the Fatal Push in that. The slot we can dig deeper into a deck with the Triome. Got the World Tree. So the Adult Gold Dragon is one of the best cards that we can have for Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So we get the Up the Beanstalk, and there's our Niv-Mizzet. I mean, we are looking actually like pretty good here. So let's go ahead and swing in, get our lifelink. Nothing doing yet. Do we want to go for Leyline Binding? So Founding of the Third Path, they can exile target instant or sorcery card from their graveyard and copy it. So I guess they could just copy the Thoughtseize. And then they take away our Niv-Mizzet, but then we could Leyline Binding. No, I think we're going to have to do this. It's not sexy, and I don't love it. But let's go for Leyline Binding. Get rid of Founding of the Third Path. There's a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That's kind of nice. Let's get rid of that. And then, instead of going for the Triome, well, we can take the Triome and cycle. I don't want to tap out because they have that Stubborn Denial, so I can't really go for Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I think we're going to take the Triome and just cycle. Yeah. So still nothing doing, and we are looking really good here. Like I said, I am very, very pleased with how this is working out. We were playing Atraxa, and I kind of felt like our deck was just like the weaker version of it. They can't obviously go for Stubborn Denial because this is a cycling ability that works out very nicely, and we're doing good. So Fable of the Mirror Breaker, obviously the Adult Goldspan Dragon is pretty much the only thing that is going to be able to be copied with the Reflection of Kiki Jiki. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's see if they're running any like other hard counters, because I want to drop this Niv-Mizzet Reborn. Let's go. Niv-Mizzet Reborn, Up the Beanstalk. Let's go. That feels pretty gosh darn awesome. Hopefully it resolves. Oh, Fatal Push. That's actually not that big of a deal. Okay, so we're going to get this. Up the Beanstalk draws us a Fateful Absence. Niv-Mizzet, and they don't even let us have our fun. Tylosis. Sounds Demiri. So, okay, let's see what you got. Interesting name there. I guess we'll go for the Overgrown Tomb. We don't really have too good of plays here, so I don't know what we're playing. I'm not going to tap it in if we don't have to. Gilded Goose, so maybe hindsight's a little 20/20. Maybe I should go for a Fatal Push, considering we do have a Doomskar. So maybe that should be kind of something we tap in, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Nevertheless, let's just go for the Doomskar. So now we're going to have to yield the Gilded Goose. So, yeah, hindsight, maybe it is better just go for a little bit more aggressive to go for the Overgrown Tomb if you don't know what you're playing. I guess that's something to note. Gilded Geese. So we got the not the Gilded Goose, we got the Gilded Geese here. Prosperous Innkeeper. And unfortunately for them, I mean, I already know what this kind of deck is going to do. This is like the Abzan deck where it does the, whatchamacallit. Well, hold on. I don't really have a way to go for the Doomskar here yet. I guess we'll go for the Clifftop Retreat, just so that we can have 2 white sources for the Doomskar, and then you hold up the Fatal Push. But let's hold up the Fatal Push for the Wild Growth Walker. Oh, so Llanowar Elves. I'm assuming this deck wants to go for the Wild Growth Walker, Amalia combo, which is pretty much, I mean, that card is dynamite. I don't blame them. So I'm actually not going to Fatal Push here because I just have the Doomskar, and they know that we have the Doomskar, so I'm a little confused why they would just go extra wide for no reason, so let's do it. Let's go for Doomskar. The only thing I'd be a little bit worried about They can't give Amalia haste or nothing like that, so I think we're completely fine. So just a Doomskar. Not sexy, but I mean, sexy for me. Maybe not the sexiest content-wise, considering that a Doomskar, that's how we win. It's not really the sexiest thing. We kind of want to get into like our big dragons and stuff like that. So I guess we're just going to go in for Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and then just hold this Fatal Push, and just in case they have any of that combo nonsense, we have to break up the combo. So let's go ahead and get you, and I think I'm actually going to go for Temple of the Dragon Queen. It doesn't really matter considering that we have the World Tree anyway, but I guess we'll go for blue. Pass turn, and then we have the Fatal Push for the Wild Growth Walker or Amalia, just in case they get that. And I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing here. Prosperous Innkeeper, they gain life. The Wild Growth Walker gains life, and it's a +1 counter, and then the, yeah, you know. If you don't know, it's the Amalia card. I feel like I'm just like rambling on and on, but I guess so. We got the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I definitely want to dig deeper into our deck here, just because I guess we'll just do one of this retreat here. So there we go. We got the Tiamat. That is awesome. That is awesome. So maybe I should have given up the land there, but we have another Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and we got these treasure tokens that we're going to be able to spit out. So I think we're going to be okay here. The only problem is here, if we drop the Tiamat, we do run the risk of them going in for the combo. So even though it is sexy, we do run the risk of not being able to break the combo. So I think we're gonna do this. Let's do this. I don't know, maybe we should just drop it. Let's just drop it for content's sake. I'm only running one Tiamat. I'm on limited time, so let's just go ahead and drop this bad boy. Plus, let's go. Okay, let's have the fun. Let's do it. Tiamat comes out to play, this beautiful god, and now we get our choice of 5 dragon creatures. Let's just enjoy it while we got it. Okay, so I guess we'll go for the Witherbloom. We can untap all of our lands this way for 10 life, and our life isn't threatened, so I guess we'll go for Niv-Mizzet. I guess we'll go for... Let's go for the adult Goldspan Dragon. I keep calling Goldspan Dragon on purpose. At first it was a joke, but now it's just life, you know? Okay, so we got the Tiamat out. We refueled our hand. Oh no, see, this is exactly why I was nervous. Court of the Calling. If they can snag the combo, we're gonna... So there's the Amalia. Okay, so they just need a Wild Growth Walker. So there's the Dina Soul Steeper. Okay, so that is exactly why I was a little nervous, but they don't have the absolute combo there, so it could be worse. I guess we'll get rid of the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I want to keep all of our lovely dragons in our hand. Okay, if we lose with the Tiamat, I'll feel like an absolute scrub. The Court of the Calling definitely was a little... I didn't really see that coming. I thought because like maybe they have Coco. So Extraction Specialist, they have the Dina the Soul Steeper, but they don't have the Wild Growth Walker. And as long as they don't have the Wild Growth Walker, they can't really hit us for like lethal. What they can do is just explore a bazillion times and load up their hand. But if we can just get off this Farewell, it would suck to have to Farewell the Tiamat. But the Tiamat actually, like, we got our plan off. We got our like, refueled hand. Kind of acts as like an Atraxa in a way. Okay, so that's fine. Like I said, that's fine with me. They get the Fable of the Mirror. We'll get the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Definitely gonna swing in just so we get our treasure token. But this is actually not that big of a deal. Especially if we go for Farewell. Tiamat and Farewell, I don't know, it's pretty nice. Let's go and swing in. We're going to take some damage off of them and then get some treasure going. Feels pretty good. And because they do have a treasure token, or a food token themselves, I think what we're going to do, let's use our treasure token and then exile all artifacts. Yeah, we do lose a life and they get to explore one more time, which is unfortunate. Yeah, Steeper. Let's see if they put it into the graveyard. They do put it into the graveyard. It's not going to matter. So let's go in for the Farewell. And I still think we have enough mana to hold up a Fatal Push, just in case they start to like refuel their stuff on the back end here. So yeah, let's go. I know we're going to Farewell our Tiamat, but like I said, the Tiamat already did its job. We refueled our hand. Look at our hand of beautiful, beautiful dragons here. You gotta love it. All right, let's go for the Farewell. Fatal Push. It does not do anything. I'm already farewelling, so like that doesn't do anything. I don't know what that's all about. But let's drop you, and I guess we'll just enter it taps because we already have the Fatal Push. Feels pretty good. Let's see, we do run the one World Tree just so that we can get the Tiamat out from the library, but they know that it's all over from here. Insector Raya. I want to say Inspector, but it's Insector. How you doing here? Okay, we'll go and keep this. This is actually a pretty gosh darn good hand. I'm really liking the Kyodai Soul of Kamigawa. A very, very niche card, but I love it. Let's go for the Triome. Nothing too fancy here. Set up the Leyline Binding kind of nonsense. And Thrilling Discovery. Alright, so there we go. Discard Ox of Aganas. Okay. So that'll come in later. So this is going to be just like a self-mill type of deck here. Just trying to think of how I want to set up my turn 2, because the World Tree does have to come in untapped no matter what. We can play around with the Temple of the Dragon Queen. I guess we'll shock ourselves in here, just so that we can hold up the Leyline Binding or a Fateful Absence, depending on what they have. So the Seneschal of the Sun, okay. Okay, I think we'll Fatal Push this. It's less mana efficient, but that's fine, as long as we can just get it out of the way. There's our Niv-Mizzet Reborn, and I absolutely love that. With the World Tree, there's going to be absolutely no mana problems here. Mana problems? No way. Seasoned Hollow Blade, they can use this to discard and then just give it indestructible, but we can't go for Leyline Binding. I think we're going to do it, yeah. It feels a little, I don't know, it feels a little wasteful, because I know that if they're dumping stuff into their graveyard, they most likely want to have like some crazy stuff in there, so I don't know how I feel about that. I'm actually going to go for the Ziatora's Proving Ground. I know we could flash in the Kyodai with the Temple of the Dragon Queen if we reveal it, but then it kind of ruins the surprise anyway. Because then if they have like, you know, like some sort of enchantment destruction, we can protect it. But either way, it's not going to matter here. We got green for the Ziatora. If we go for blue, let's go ahead and reveal the Niv-Mizzet Reborn, and let's drop it. Niv-Mizzet Reborn. They can't counter it. They might destroy it, but that's okay. Let's see what we can dig into our deck here. We have plenty of okay, outside of that absolutely amazing animation, I wish they did that more often, especially with like the newer cards. We get absolutely nothing from this Niv-Mizzet Reborn. That is very, very disappointing. But at least that animation in the corner of the screen, how cool was that? Okay, so, oh my gosh. I mean, I don't think we're running like an abundance, but we are running plenty of like 2 pairing colors, so kind of disappointing. I was hoping to at least get 1. So at least the Niv-Mizzet does take them for a 2-for-1 Fiery Impulse. Okay, so we absorbed 2 of their cards with 1 Niv-Mizzet. Very, very disappointing, but it is what it is. Very, very cool to cast it always. Let's go for Up the Beanstalk, and hopefully we can snag into a land, which we do not. I think we're going to go for this, Doomskar. Yeah, they are a pretty heavy creature deck, so the Doomskar is definitely alive. But yeah, that Niv-Mizzet was pretty disappointing. That was a heartbreaker there. So Hollow One, they're gonna cycle. Not too sure what we're looking at here. Oh, Hearth Elemental. Okay, Hearthstone Elemental. I can't hit that with the Fatal Push, unfortunately, but we do have the Adult Goldspan Dragon. So if they're looking to kind of like bash our face in, I mean, this is just a vanilla 4/5. If I go for the Adult Goldspan Dragon, no treasures to be made with this dragon, but we do get the draw from the Beanstalk. And I would like to see a little bit more land, but we do get lifelink, and that's pretty good too. So this Fatal Push not looking too... Oh, Fatal Push is looking good. The Fatal Push is definitely live back on the Seneschal of the Sun. Let's see what they got here. So they have a lot of discard stuff here, so I actually kind of dig this deck. More Ox of Agonis. 5/6, that is definitely dangerous, but not more dangerous than our Adult Goldspan Dragon, just because we got the lifelink as well. Alright, another Hearth Elemental. So I am running Doomskar. At a certain point, I may want to go for Doomskar, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We still have the Destruction, so the Guardian of Nubenalia, so a lot of discard stuff here. I actually really, really enjoyed this deck. It's a nice little brew that they got going on here. What's the play here? I mean, I think we're still going to swing in. We have double Fateful Absence. Of course, the Guardian of Nubenalia is going to be able to get over us, our destruction abilities. So I think we're going to... I don't want to get this down, especially with the Adult Gold Dragon. Alright, and I guess we can go for Fateful Absence. The Guardian of Nubenalia is probably going to enlist. I think this is fine. See, they don't have a whole lot. I'm going to probably wait until they go for something. They swing in with the Elemental, and then I can go for a Fateful Absence. Kind of disrupt them a little bit, but I think the Guardian of Nubenalia is going to enlist the Seneschal of the Sun. I think that's kind of what's going on here. I wish I had another mana source. I could go for Fatal Push and the Absence, but I think it was more important to drop the Mirror Breaker. So yeah, the Guardian of Nubenalia, I'm sure they're setting this up. They're going to enlist the Seneschal of the Sun. Okie dokie. Yep. So let's go ahead and wait for Inti to do their thing with the +1/+1 counter and the trample. Scry 2, not a big deal. I would assume... Let's see who they put it on. They are. So let's just go for the Fateful Absence. Pretty simple here. Alright, so we get our removal. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, I mean, I'm just kind of looking what they have. So far, it just seems to be... I mean, they have an Ox, or 3 of them, actually. Or 4 of them in their graveyard. But they only have 1 card in their hand. They don't have a whole lot of damage on the board. And our adult gold span dragon is going to kind of just ward them off here with the lifelink. So, like, I just don't think I'm really that threatened right now. Take 4. I'm going to let this go. I definitely want my treasure token from our little goblin shaman here. And we're looking, like, pretty fine. Like, this is just... There's just not really a whole lot going on here. I think their deck is more suited to be a little bit more aggro. Obviously, we can take them more into deeper waters. Take the clue token. But unless they have a clue, they go for the Hearthstone Elemental. Hearthstone. Did anyone ever play Hearthstone? I actually did play Hearthstone for... I feel like when it first came out, I actually did for a while. I guess Fateful Absence, I guess we could use it for the Essential, but I do want to dig deeper into the deck, especially just like kind of for content's sake, honestly. I do kind of want to get into something else, so more land is good. We can go for Kyodai, and then we do the, you know, the +5/+5 with all of our different colors here. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, like going back to Hearthstone, I did play Hearthstone for like, I think I was never really good at it, but I played recreationally when it first came out, but like I always just like Magic, you know. I just like Magic. I can't disobey the card gods. So I went from actually Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon way back. I think I went Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, very recreationally though. Never like I didn't like dive head first, and then I kind of dabbled with like Hearthstone, back to Magic, and now we're just here cruising. So, it would be nice to go for Doomskar and the Kyodai. I mean, that is a move that we can do. Yeah, but I don't really want to do that. I just don't think we really have to. I don't think we have to. It is a kind of a sneaky move, but Kyodai itself doesn't get indestructible, so it's kind of not really the best. Unless they go, like, super mega wide. Collection of Kiki Jiki, of course, with the Gold Dragon is super nice. There's the Reunion, more discard stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I guess... I just don't think we're that threatened. Like, there's just nothing... Are they doing, like, reanimation? Or are they just doing, like, this, like, aggro-y discard stuff? Because if they're just going straight aggro, we've got removal, we've got Kyodai. I just don't think we're that threatened, so I think we're just holding still here. If they go for... I'm waiting for them to have some sort of removal. There is the Lightning Axe, so they really like this discard. I haven't seen anything to, like, be... I haven't seen anything that indicates reanimation. But let's go. Kyodai. Soul of Kamigawa. Look how sick this card is, man. No one is ever expecting this. Let's go ahead and give our Gold Span Dragon indestructible. Babamzo. Looking good. Kyodai. Soul of Kamigawa. Like the fact that little, like, hexproof thing here. So now on the back end here, we actually do have lethal. Enlist. But like I said, if they don't have anything else, Kyodai is going to be able to pump itself for +5/+5, and the adult Gold Dragon, we're going to be fine here. So, sure. Scry all you want. Looking good. Enlist, sure, don't really care that much. I guess we'll just hit the Fateful Absence on the Hearth Elemental. Actually, because if they had 0 cards in their hand, I think I might even just like say no and just not even really care. Just because I want to ensure that we have lethal on the back end here. So here we go. If they don't have any other answers, they have the Aganjo. Aganjo's going to probably go away, and they can't even cast the Aganjo. Or not cast, but activate the ability, so that's fine. Clue token, and they just have one last card. The Kyodai. I want to go for the Soul. Oh, they don't let us swing in with Kyodai, but we would have got +5/+5. Giraffe. Hello. Well, Giraffe versus Dragons. How you doing here? We got the Tiamat, and this is a little slower of a hand. We do have the Rivaz of the Claw, which I think is going to overall save us. Because if we were on the... Yeah, the Rivaz of the Claw might save us. So we do have Farewell as well. So this is close, but I think I'm going to keep it. Ascendant Spirit, okay. So, oh yeah, especially with Ascendant Spirit, this is going to be like a tempo-y type deck, so hopefully we can kind of speed up the process. Maybe like, Spirits are a tough matchup. They are very tempo-y, they have a lot of hexproof, a lot of counters, so I am a little bit nervous. 19 to 20 does not make me that nervous, so got Up the Beanstalk. Would have loved an Up the Beanstalk on turn 2, but better late than never. So let's go for the Rivaz of the Claw. If we don't get countered, we can kind of like hopefully ramp up into the Tiamat pretty soon. But I am running 2 Cavern of Souls, and I really hope I get a Cavern of Souls. Just because I have a pretty strong feeling they're going to have a counter here. Not maybe here, but they have a counters. They have a lot of counters in general, I know that. So got Rivaz of the Claw, things could be worse. Here comes our Rattle Chains. Hexproof, okay. Okay. You may cast spirit spells as though they have flash, so they're pretty much going to be playing a bunch of flash stuff here on my turn, at the end of my turn most likely. So it doesn't make me the most comfortable. 17 to 20, not that big of a deal. We got the Overgrown Tomb, and gotta make a decision here. Do I want to go for the Up the Beanstalk? I may pay for this later, but if I go for Up the Beanstalk, maybe we draw out a counterspell from them. We don't. Okay, and we still have enough for going for the Galazeth Prismari, so I think this is okay. So I was hoping they kind of maybe bait out a counterspell here. Let's see if they have it. I mean, let's see if they have one at all. So Galazeth Prismari. This thing's going to be a pain in the butt for them, just because it has flying. It's got a decent amount of toughness as well. Alright, it does resolve. Alright, we're looking good. Make a treasure token, and of course that helps us ramp up into either Farewell or Tiamat. And with the Up the Beanstalk, we do have our little like de facto draw engine. Shackle Guys. Okay, that's not what I'm. That's kind of not good. So Shackle Guys is going to be able to kind of just tap out our stuff at will. And the problem here is they're never really going to be tapped out, which is unfortunate because now they have. Oh god, Spirits is so. Oh my god. So you never really like think of it that good. Or like that threatening. So we're already down to 7, and I think I'm gonna have to just go in for the Farewell here because Tiamat's a little bit too slow. I think our play here is to go for the Farewell, but maybe they have a counter spell, and then I go for Tiamat. So we also have the Galazeth Prismari, but maybe it's a little bit too slow anyway. So we're down to 7 life. Hindsight's always 20/20, but maybe I should have gone for the Beanstalk. I think we're just going to have to go for this. Let's go ahead and exile everything except for the enchantments if we do this. But they haven't shown a counterspell yet, but they're holding up priority. But of course they can go for flash. So let's go ahead and do everything except for enchantments. Up the Beanstalk will draw. Fingers crossed that we get this to resolve. Alright, we get this to resolve, and it kind of sucks blowing up our own stuff. Obviously, I don't love that. Well, it's not... Oh, well, the Beanstalk resolved. The Farewell is not resolved. I mean, if they have a counter, like, there's really no thinking, right? Like, well, they would just do it, right? Oh, the anticipate. Oh, okay, so we get it to resolve. There we go. So now I think the plan, we can't go for the Tiamat. Maybe I just, yeah, because with Shackle Guys, they can just tap out all of our stuff. So, I don't know. I think we could have, alternatively, we could have dropped Tiamat. But then our Farewell, then we would kind of overextend a little bit, and our Tiamat wouldn't be as threatening. But now we can't actually cast Tiamat here. Let's go for Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and then we can go for the Triome to cycle. But now the Mana Confluence actually has to hit us for 1. I think we might be a little too slow in this match, especially if they flash another thing, and we only have 5 life. And with the Mana Confluence, we're going to have to pay the 1 if we want to tap it at all. So, yeah. Maybe I should have went for Godless Shrine instead, and then go for maybe Fable of the Mirror Breaker, or the Triome, rather. I just don't know where we sit here, because, again, the alternative is to go for, like, the Triome, the Godless Shrine. If we go for Tiamat, we're probably looking a little bit too slow, because, I mean, if we refill our hand... Still probably a little bit too low. So the Ascendant Spirit, we're going to have to chump block with this Goblin. Let's see. Let's see if we can kind of make our way out of here. Of course I'm going to chump block. I kind of have to. I don't think I'm even going to use the Triome here to cycle, because that means that we can't go for the Godless Shrine here. But I guess maybe we have to look for an answer, because the Tiamat's a little bit too slow. But maybe not. I don't know. This is a gross situation. If we do this, we go down to 2. I think we're going to have to do it. I don't know. Another Up the Beanstalk. Well, you have a Doomskar. Okay, so we have a Doomskar. It's just an all-around gross situation, because if I go for Doomskar, they can just flash something in, and they just have 2. Just an all-around disgusting scenario here. I guess we'll go ahead and do this. Fatal Push is good. Cavern of Souls actually is pretty gosh darn good, because now we can just drop the Tiamat free of charge. I think we're going to go for Doomskar, draw a card with the Beanstalk, and then hope the Fatal Push. If we get this to resolve, eventually they are, yes, eventually they are going to show a counterspell of some sort. We do have the Fatal Push. No, I think we just lose. Yeah, I can't do math. Yeah, because we're at the 2. Let's go ahead and draw. See if we get like another Fatal Push or something, which we don't. And I think we can just concede. Yeah, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and give them a good game, though. Always a pleasure to play Spirits. I think we did okay, but just they outpaced us. Snowman. All right, let's see if you're playing Snowlands, Snowman. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. Definitely, a lot of our stuff is kind of at the core control, but like I said, it is like a 5-color. I don't even know. Like this deck plays so weirdly. It's kind of like Atraxa, but with like a little bit more toys, I guess. All right, so Thoughtseize. Let's see what they get rid of. I would just a Farewell. Really, they get rid of the Farewell. Okay, that's interesting. That tells me they're probably going to have a lot of board presence on here, especially with the Overgrown Tomb. That would kind of symbolize the Golgari. Snowman not running Snowlands, so that is kind of tricked me out there a little bit there, buddy. I'm actually going to go for the Temple of the Dragon Queen, just so that I can go for Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. It's pretty much our only way to make red, and it is going to come in untapped, because we don't have a dragon, unfortunately. Mosswood Dread Knight, okay. Well, they're going to go for the value game instead of beating my head in, which is a little confusing, because typically if they know that we're running, they see our hand. They know we have got removal, we've got sweepers. Typically, when you do that, at least I do, I typically go for the Mosswood Dread Knight and just go for damage, because they're not going to win. I don't think they're going to really win a marathon. They might win a sprint, but they're not going to win a marathon. I think I kind of like all of our cards here. I mean, Doomskar, I guess we'll go ahead and get rid of it. We do get another one anyway. We have chock full of removal, and I kind of want to keep the Goblin kind of at pace here. If they want to trade, that's completely fine with me. I think I would rather, if I wouldn't rather them trade with me, I would have gone for Fatal Push, but I'm okay with that. So we're kind of winning the aggro battle. We're just kind of winning overall. So let's go for another Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Depending on what they play, I might just get rid of the Doomskar again. But again, I want to use Fable of the Mirrorbreaker to dig into our deck to get into our big scary dragons. So they're I don't know why they're doing this. Maybe are they like mana screwed or something? Because otherwise, I don't really see why they're doing this. Let's go for the Fatal Push, I guess. Why not? Like I said, yeah, so they are mana screwed. So that makes a little bit more sense. And I think at this point, you know, we've got enough land. I'm actually tempted to get rid of at least one of these lands. The Doomskar, the Fateful Absence. I don't really want. We have enough board presence to where I don't even really want to blow up the board. Just get rid of one land. Another Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. I guess we'll just kind of keep up the trend. And it's just gonna be Death by Fable Breaker. I mean, that's how good this card is. Like, that's fine. Yeah, but like that's how good Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is. Like, it's just like, you don't even really have to like make use of like the discard stuff. It's just such a good card on itself. Like, just in and of itself, it's just such a freaking good card. Cleans up your hand, treasure tokens, copy. Even the Reflection of the Kiki-Jiki, we don't really have too many targets other than the Adult Gold Dragon because it's non-legendary, but doesn't really matter. So Fabled Passage, and they keep digging into their deck with the Mosswood Dread Knight. Of course, being Mana Screw is never fun. But if they drop it, we just go for the Fatal Push. I don't really want to go for the Fateful Absence. Unless they have removal themselves. Bitter Triumph. Okay, discard. Okay. I could go for Fateful Absence on my own creature to go for the clue token to draw. I did kind of contemplate that. Overall, I'm going to lean no. I don't think we're going to do that, but I don't know. Maybe I should have. Just for the card draw would be kind of nice. But let's go ahead and do this. We have the Leyline Binding for more stuff. Finally get into a Kyodai. And I think with all this treasure stuff, I think we're just going to use the Kyodai, and we're going to be able to push through here. Yeah, I think this is probably a good game. We've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we've got enough for a Leyline Binding and a Kyodai. So we've got We're going to be able to make something have indestructible. We're going to have removal. I think this game's over. I don't think they really have anything here, especially in these colors. They're not going to really be able to exile. So Assassin's Trophy. Okay, well, that's a cute. And let's just go for the Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa. And we get to make permanent indestructible, and Kyodai saves the day.